In this graphing calculator reference sheet, you're going to learn how to evaluate functions in 3 different ways: by calculating, graphing, and using a table. The first method is calculating, so we're going to go ahead and do step 1, putting this function into y equals. So click on y equals, and you can see I've entered the function 2x squared, as your squared is over here, plus 5x plus 2. Then from there, I'm going to go back to the main screen, so that's second mode. Okay, so I'm back to the main screen, and I'm going to choose alpha trace as our step 2, alpha trace, and I'm going to select y1, which is where we put our function in. So I'll click enter, and then inside we want to put our first x value from the table, and it is -2. So we'll put parentheses, -2. And then we'll click enter. And you can see I get the value 0, so I'll write that in my table. And I can continue that process to find -1, 0, 0.5, and 1. But I'm going to go ahead and do the next method so we can find some other points for our table by graphing. So I'm going to go ahead and go into y equals like I would for step 2 or step 1 in method 2. And again, I have my function in here. Now this time I'm going to click on graph. And I can see that I have my function. I'm going to change my window because I want to view it just a little bit closer. So if you can see, we can adjust our window if necessary. So I'm going to go to window, and I'm going to use this window here. -4, 3 for my x max, my x scale is 1, my y min is -4, my y max is 10, and my y scale can be 1. So I'm going to go back to my graph and see if I can view it a little bit closer. And yes. So now I'm going to go to second trace because I want to find a specific value. I'm going to look for -1 this time. So second trace, and I'm looking for a specific value when x is -1. So I'm going to select that. You can either click 1 or enter in this case. And I'm going to type in -1. And then I'll enter to see what it is. So when x is -1, y is -1. So I can enter that into my table. Alright, so I'm working my way through these values. And I could continue that step, the same process using the graphing method to find the other values. But let's go ahead and use a table for the last 3. So method 3, again, in y equals, I need to have my function. And then I want to go to step 2 where it says view the table and identify the x values. First, I want to make sure my table is adjusted. So I want to go to second window, and I want to change my table start to -2, and my change in table to 0.5, because I notice up here that I'm going to have a fraction, like by halves. So I need to adjust that so it will recognize it. So I'll change it to 0.5, and then I will enter, and then I'm going to go to second graph, which is going to give me my table. And from there you can see that I have 0, -1, I have all these values right here, and I'm looking for when x is 0, I can see it'll be 2. When x is 0.5, I can see it's going to be 5. And when x is 1, I can see that it's going to be 9. So in a way, my table gave me all the values much quicker, but again, it's helpful to be able to evaluate using each method: calculate, graphing, or by table.